The 2000s could have been the years of the Three Lions, but they were not. The English national team, despite having a monstrous squad, missed out on success. A golden generation that failed to shine collectively and left behind them big regrets. Beckham, Owen, Gerrard, Lampard, or Rooney, all these individualities for mediocre results. From the '98 World Cup to the 2006 World Cup, England was awaited but did not respond. A look back at the failure of a generation that should have brought the Albion a title, long awaited since 1966. Subscribe to Megafoot, the best of football in video. It was in France in 1998 that the beginnings of a very talented team came to light. After a complicated group phase during which England qualified behind Romania, the Three Lions met Argentina in the round of 16. Captain Alan Shearer and the very young Michael Owen formed the English attack. Behind them, the team looked good with David Seaman, Paul Scholes, David Beckham, and Sol Campbell among others. After 120 minutes of play, England lost in the penalty shootout, but the advent of an 18-year-old striker, Michael Owen, was a highlight. The little striker revealed himself to the world. England's solidity was tested when the team's star player David Beckham was sent off. He responded to a tackle by Simeon by kicking the Argentine in front of the referee. For the English, the disappointment was great, but so was the promise. Promises that would collapse 2 years later in the Netherlands against Belgium. England was drawn in the group of death alongside Germany, Portugal, and Romania, and lost. The British defense was initially overwhelmed by Portugal, 3-2, before a surge of pride against Germany. To qualify, England had to win against Romania. But the predicted disaster occurred. Beckham and company lost 3-2 to a Romanian team that would go on to the quarterfinals. The captain of the team, Alan Shearer, retired in disappointment, leaving the keys to an over-motivated Beckham-Owen tandem, a motivation that will be felt from the first round of the World Cup in Korea in 2002. Michael Owen has just won the Golden Ball. Beckham is at the top of his game with Manchester United. Young Rio Ferdinand was impressive in defense alongside the evergreen Sol Campbell. The Three Lions made it through the first round without defeat, with a win over Argentina. In the round of 16, Ferdinand, Owen, and Emil Heskey crushed Denmark. It was the great Brazil of Ronaldo and Ronaldinho who stood up to England in the quarterfinals. Despite the opening goal by Michael Owen, as is often the case, David Seaman precipitated his team's defeat by conceding a free kick from Rooney. The English still need to improve a little if they are to have any hope for a title. These improvements, English fans identify them, Gerrard, Lampard, to solidify a legendary midfield alongside David Beckham and Paul Scholes. A young Everton-trained player also made an appearance in Sven-Goran Eriksson's squad, Wayne Rooney. In the first round of Euro 2004, England began their European campaign with a loss to Zidane's France. But after that, they were on top, thanks in particular to 3 goals from their young striker in 3 games. The Three Lions are among the favorites to win the title. However, the fall is heavy. It is a new disillusionment, with a defeat in the quarterfinals and the penalty shootout against Portugal, the competition's hosts. For the next competition, nothing changes. The coach remained the same and the squad was almost identical. A few kids such as Theo Walcott and Peter Crouch brought their freshness. The objective, to bring the World Cup home, 40 years after the last title. After an easy first round, in a group within their reach, the English eliminated Ecuador in the 8th round thanks to a goal from captain David Beckham. If they were not flamboyant, Lampard, Gerrard, and their teammates did the job. In the quarterfinals, England fell once again to Portugal. It was time to erase the trauma of Euro 2004. Unfortunately, the lack of efficiency of the English attack will lead the selection to extra time, and then to penalties. Again. Rooney sent off for a bad gesture towards Ronaldo. England's penalty takers almost all miss, and the scenario repeats itself. It was a fiasco, and England was eliminated by Portugal on the brink of the last 4. And it is not in 2008 for the Euro in Austria and Switzerland that England will rise again. A major turnover took place both on the bench and on the pitch. This was detrimental as it led to the Three Lions to not be qualified for the European competition. The failure was bitter and David Beckham and Michael Owen retired from international football. A page was turned, and not the most flamboyant one in the history of English football. England had all keys in hand to be crowned champions, but despite the talented players who made up this team, this generation has never been able to realize all the hopes placed in it. The team was never complete, lacking a reassuring goalkeeper, but but also a real playmaker. This collective failure leaves a lot of regrets because England seemed, on paper, to be at the level of the best. But that's the magic of football, which can also turn into a bitter failure. This English generation is not the only one to have disappointed. We also remember the failure of the 1987 generation of the French team or the extraordinary individuality of the Belgian team of the 2010s. And you, what is your biggest disappointment? Give us your opinion in the comments. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, don't hesitate to talk about our channel around you, to like it, to share it. It helps us a lot to continue to create more content on football news. See you soon for a new video. Ciao!